please. Okay, so for my project, I'm doing a PowerPoint, but I'm using pictures from all of my experiences working with kids. So there's some from an after-school program I worked with in the Bay, some camps, daycares, stuff like that. And I basically matched a picture with an insight and a strategy from class. And it was actually a really good just like activity to do because it sort of allowed me to link my past experience with what we've learned here. So, you know, I just went through and thought, like, what could I have done differently in certain situations with the knowledge I have now, or what was I doing right, what was I doing wrong, and yeah. So anyway, all the pictures in my presentation are of kids that I've worked with and have known. So, oops. Part 1, strategies. Get control the first day. This is a picture of me with some out of control kids. I actually got this insight from the teacher that I interviewed for Dave's paper, and she was like, "You can, you know, be as crazy and silly and goofy with the kids as you want after you've gotten control, like the first month, and have been a little hard on them so that they know that they have to listen to you and respect you." And I thought that was a good insight. Misbehavior stems from lack of trust. I think that's true, and it's kind of a key element in understanding your students and just sort of figuring out where they're coming from and how to deal with their behavior issues. The brain needs stimulation. This is a baby that I babysat, and I would argue that that might be a little bit too much stimulation around her, but it's true in the classroom at any rate, and so that's that one. Encourage responsibility. You can't really see it at all, but those are some kids from the after-school program I worked at, and they're cleaning up after a Halloween party that we had, and the kids I worked with there that really liked helping out and cleaning up, and they didn't really get any reward from it other than our praise and feeling like they were being responsible, so I thought that was a good thing to bring to the classroom. A quiet voice indicates shyness. I thought this was a good tool to have for just learning which kids you're going to need to watch basically on the first day of school. If they're speaking quietly, you know that they're probably a little anxious or shy, and that's a way to know that from day one, I guess. A child without friends should be a red flag. This is another tool for getting to know your kids the first day, just watching them at recess and seeing who's playing alone. The worst thing you can do to children is ignore them. That's me not ignoring some children. All right, part 2, strategies. Peer teaching. What do you guys, can somebody tell me a good, something peer teaching is good for in the classroom? Why it works? Yeah.
It maybe allows, if one student was thinking about what they're going to have for lunch and one was paying attention, it gets rid of the whole, now you have 15 hands up out of a 30-person class because half of the students were paying attention. So they can teach their neighbor, and the teacher doesn't have to go over every little detail. It could just waste the whole day.
Totally, yeah, and it also is a really good way, a really good memory retention tool for the child who's teaching. Get active. To like how it bounced the ball. This one's good because it just gets kids up and moving and changes things up in the classroom a little bit. It's also a good way to teach new material because they're going to remember that activeness that went along with it. Drawing. Who wants to tell me a couple of things you can use drawing for in the classroom? Sabrina.
Note taking.
Mm-hmm. And also, somebody just mentioned having students get together and discuss in pairs if you have forgotten your lesson plan. And I think that drawing is another way of doing that, like have them draw what they did over the weekend or whatever. And it's also a good way to discover children's feelings if they're sort of not willing to talk about them. You can sort of discern what they're feeling from their drawings. Skits and songs. I wish we could see it better, but skits and songs are another good way to aid memory retention, and yeah, that's basically it for those. And they're fun and active. Create routine. This was another thing that the teacher I was talking to for Dave's interview paper said. She said, you know, I like to create a routine so that when I come in the room, the kids know exactly what to do and they barely even need me. And it also creates comfort and stability for the kids in the classroom. Modeling. Can someone tell me a benefit to modeling? This picture is supposed to be me modeling racial equality. Sabrina?
Well, if you provide a positive role model, then your kids are going to look up to you and be more positive in their interactions with their peers.
Mm-hmm. And differentiation. So I've got a kid doing a play on the right side. On the left, I've got kids doing a writing assignment. And on the bottom, there's some kids doing an art project. And I think it's really important to remember differentiation when we become teachers, because I know when I was a kid, I was taught a lot of lessons in ways that didn't really go with my learning style. So I think that is a good strategy for all of us to remember. And that is the end. Does anyone else need the PowerPoint, or should I turn anything off?
I need you to think of that next week so I can show you how to fix those pictures.
Fix them?
Yeah.
Okay.
Easy.
It showed up on my computer.
It doesn't.
Okay, now I have to turn it off. Yes.
Sabrina, I'd rather have quality focused time
Oh,
next
okay.
week, unless you have something that we're going to eat. You
No.
made a cake for us, you put your strategies on top, and
Good idea, though, but
I
no.
know my eighth grade students would do that. They would make their projects, put their maps on, do their reporting.
Awesome.
Those whippersnappers were smart. All right, let's look at that. We have a few minutes. We have a few minutes to look at this. Or you got some ideas to steal? Let me see what you got first. Let me hear. What have you put on your list? Dana, I'll begin with you.
Let's see.
Then Chris, because you've been typing. Let me see some of those ideas.
Okay.
What have you got?
I like that Marjorie used one of her strategies as the activity. Connie's poem was very interesting and kept everyone really, interested in reading it and following along because of the poem, and just really creative.
Okay, that's good. Let's stop there. What you got on this side of the room?
I thought Brian's was creative, using what Kim used. But I don't know what you call it in reading the strategy, but using like pictures to tell a story.
Yes, that's the iconic mode. Jerome Bruner. Yes, what else you got? Got one more?
I like AnnaLaura's create a routine. I just observed a geography class 2 days ago, high school level, and I think the routine was the only way that class held together. So that's like key. So,
Good.
good call.
All right.
Yeah, really.
Do I have some more from the middle?
Yeah, I actually like that idea of trying to link your students' past experiences to the subject matter you're studying. That's what AnnaLaura did as her concept.
As we're thinking, yeah. Yeah, you had two themes, I think, storytelling with the little Bible story thing. I mean, there were some things in there that I never heard of before.
Yeah.
What was that, deaf? I didn't know how to spell it, deaf creed?
Death camus.
Deaf camus.
Death, like dying.
Deaf camus, boy, its consequences are dire.
Well, there's also regular camus.
Oh, I know.
You can eat it.
Okay. Did you find one, Kimberly?
I thought you could take AnnaLaura's and have all the students bring in pictures for the topic of discussion, engage them, and have them have ownership to learning.
I like to do that with Google. Everybody goes and finds a picture. They're in a group of 5. Everybody goes and finds a picture from Google that you like. Okay. Then they put them in a PowerPoint. Oh, now you got something going for your group of 5. Now you have to create a story that links all 5 of these pictures, and the story can't be more than 2 minutes. Just love doing that. That's very fluid thinking. Well, we're about to be studying some of these wonderful things. My favorite thing, you know, creativity. So in your index, there are several topics. Topics in the index, right? So how many elementary teachers do I have in here? A lot. I've already put Chelsea on 2 of the elementary, but now I'm rethinking and thinking that she probably wanted on secondary. You need to know which team you're going to be on so you can peruse these 2 chapters, because we're going to have in-class planning time next week as we continue. So there's some huge topics out there for secondary. When you're looking at the index, what pops up? What pops up, secondary teachers?
Brainstorming.
Well, brainstorming is a good one, but more elementary. Okay, you're looking at the index. If you don't have your book, look on with somebody.
Research.
Or, Ryan, can you pass it over to AnnaLaura, and you can look on with Kimberly? Lecture. But you know, there's a thing called the interactive lecture, and you can find it by looking at something called Quick Thinks. So I'm just going to plant this seed here. Yes, your chapter has something. It may not be as dynamic as I'd like for secondary lectures to be, so the Quick Thinks might be a little link there for lecture. So what's another topic do you think you'd like to work with when you're looking at them?
For secondary?
Either one.
For either one.
For just, as you're looking at them, you don't know a thing about them. There's only about 10 pages, but look at the size of the book. There's a little test on one page. There's diagrams. There's examples. This is not much reading. You're only going to be working with 2. But what else looks of interest?
Research.
Research looks of interest, okay? All right, what else? Come on. Come on, come on.
Tabulation and role playing.
Role playing. I knew that would come up. What else?
Problem-based learning.
PBL.
Project design.
Project design. Okay. Yeah. Somebody needs to be teaching that somewhere. What else?
Computer-based drill and practice.
Well, we're not going to do that. So we're passing on that one. Technology, we're not doing. What else you got? What?
Memorization.
Memorization is chapter 7. And memorization, remember, K through 4 memorization, or mnemonics, ideas to help us is really important, K through 4. Really important. Okay, other tools. What have you got? Tell me when you need to take the camera down for me.
Simulation and role